Welcome to my bed and welcome to this ASMR bedtime show. And I'm really looking forward to this, and I've kind of missed doing these videos and talking a bit more, and I plan to do these more regularly, at least now in February. And I also thought to mix things up a bit to have some new formats and segments, so to say. So I hope you like it, and I'm looking forward for your feedback. And I thought, first of all, I would start off with 3 different, let's say, ASMR moments that I really enjoyed this week. And the first one, I thought you could guess what the trigger is, because it's quite unusual, but I enjoyed it. So did you guess it? Yeah, it's quite strange. It's 2 walnuts being balanced on 2 different plastic cups. But the channel Vito ASMR is great. Definitely a big recommend from my side. Okay, and number 2 is kind of like my favorite ASMR trigger moment this week. Is from Raffy Taffy, and he has baby oil, and the way he shakes it, the way he then opens the lid, and then the way he moves his hand. I really enjoyed this moment, so here is just this very moment.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, and third, I have a favorite unintentional ASMR moment. It's a bit unusual. It's from a German spiritual TV show, which I've been watching quite a bit, and I'm kind of working on a compilation of my favorite moments. And there's one moment, one woman who really has a nice voice, and it's in German, but still, here are some moments which I really enjoyed.
Hallo liebe Zuschauer, seid gegrüßt. Ich bin Sabine Lorenz, Schamanin und Channel-Medium und freue mich auf nochmal 3 wunderschöne Tage mit euch, wenn wir zusammen nochmal Dinge klären können. Ihr wisst ja, mein Thema ist Familienkarma, natürlich auch positive Energie übertragen, negative Energien entfernen, und genau das werden wir jetzt auch heute wieder miteinander machen.
Ja, hallo, hier ist die Sibylle. Ich hätte gerne die Christusenergie.
Okay, dann übertrage ich dir jetzt mal die Christusenergie in dein Energiefeld. Warte mal. Das Schöne ist halt, dass wenn wir das jetzt in dein Energiefeld übertragen, sofort dein Herzchen wieder aufgeht. Und ich glaube, das ist das Wichtigste, was man wirklich braucht, dass wir diese göttliche Liebe wieder in dir verankern.
Ja.
Hallo Sabine, hier ist Martina.
Was?
Ich hätte auch gern die Christusenergie.
Okay. Bei dir geht es darum, wenn ich dir das übertrage, dass du dich wirklich angenommen fühlst so, wie du bist. Als Kind, als Frau, dieses sich perfekt fühlen, weil du perfekt bist, so wie du bist. Das ist gerade das Thema, was ich hier gezeigt kriege von dir. Und auch dir verankere ich die Energie im Herzchen.
Okay, and then second, I thought it would make sense for you and for myself too to kind of reflect and take some time to go inside and kind of make inventory, so to say, because that's something we don't do enough, I feel like. And also to focus our attention on gratitude and positivity a bit, because that doesn't come natural to me, and maybe it doesn't come natural to you. So it's all about asking the right questions, I think. I think questions can be very powerful. So I would say, let's just start and think about this past week, so to say. Let's maybe do it together, okay? So first of all, think of something you really enjoyed this week. Is there something that comes to mind for you? Can be tough, right? But it could be even small things. For me, it would probably be just cuddling on the sofa and just relaxing and sometimes helping out my partner. This was really something I enjoyed very much, and even though it's not so spectacular, I didn't really do much other than that. Okay, so second question, is there something that you can feel grateful for right now or in the past week or in general? For me, I guess it would be old friends, old high school friends, because we decided we wanted to have like a Zoom call at least once a month. And those are people from like my old high school times, basically, that live in a different city completely. But we still, most of us live in different parts of the world now, but we get together every month and we just have a call on Google Meet or Zoom and just talk. And yeah, we're at very different points in our lives. 2 of those people have already kids and 3 of them are married already. So I feel I'm kind of the laggard in this regard, but that's fine for me. But just talking to them and catching up and feeling like those people really care about you is a nice feeling, and I do enjoy those meetings and cracking some jokes and having a glass of wine. This was something I'm grateful for. Old friends. Okay, question number 3. Is there something you feel like you did well this past week? Like, it could be just working more diligently, or better diet, or working out for once, or being more sticking to your plans. I guess for me it would be just the time I put in working. I worked quite a lot, 50, 60 hours, and I made some important decisions, and I made some unpleasant phone calls that I was putting off for a long time. So I guess tackling my problems more confrontationally was really something I'm kind of proud of. Okay, and then number 4, is there something that you feel you could improve on? You don't have to be too self-critical, but you probably will find something, right? For me, it's pretty easy. It's like being better at sticking to my plans, not always questioning everything I'm trying to do, trying to really use one way of productivity. Like, I always change the way I work. I sometimes use Google Calendar, then I write it down by hand, and then I use like another Microsoft Calendar. It's all over the place. So being more consistent and really just sticking to my plan, putting my head down and doing what has to be done, getting out of my own way. That's basically what I want to do more of. Okay, and then number 5, is there something that you are looking forward to? And maybe that's not easy to find, but maybe it's something next week or in 1 month or 1 year. Is there something that you really can be looking forward to? I guess for me this would be traveling again, getting out a bit. Hopefully our car can get repaired. It's been in the garage quite a bit. We have an older Volkswagen bus and it's a bit rusty, let's just say, but I just really hope that it can be repaired and then that it's getting approved, so to say, so we can hopefully travel in summer, because I feel like things are not going to be open, but we can be very careful and just stay together, and that's almost the only way you can really travel. And I'm looking forward to that. Maybe making some nice videos. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. And then maybe finally you can think of one thing you want to focus on next week. Like, what's the one thing that matters most for you? Yeah. Because there's a good book about this. You should know what's the one thing that's most important in my life right now. You should have kind of a vision what that is, right? By the way, I just found those. They're not a sponsor or something. I don't have sponsors, but this is basically earplugs, and if you're very sensitive to noise, I can recommend those, or you fall asleep with ASMR with headphones, which is fine too. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, I like the noises those make, I noticed. Can you see them? Snoring partner, or if you have loud neighbors. Very cool. I like the lid sounds too. Okay, next I thought I would give you my ideas and my thoughts on the hot topic of the week, so to say, the stock market craze, the Wall Street bets thing, the GameStop things, the meme stop, the hedge fund, all this stuff which has been really crazy, and maybe you haven't really thought about this because you just don't care. And obviously this isn't like a stock or a money channel, but still I think it's quite worthwhile to think about this stuff just from an outside-in perspective, just from a psychological perspective, just from a sociological perspective, and I think we can gather some interesting lessons from the whole thing. And I gotta say, I have a bit of a background in this area, and this is why I'm not gonna go too deep into the whole thing, but still I think it's quite interesting, and it's also quite dangerous. And if a few of you are kind of involved in the whole thing, maybe I'm able to change your mind, or maybe I'm not. And I don't even pretend like I know all the answers, because it's very complex. So I'm not gonna summarize the whole situation here, but basically it's this. There's a subreddit called Wall Street Bets, and it's very funny. I think I've been reading there for like 1 or 2 years, mostly about the memes. And those are people who, generally young people, young men mainly I would say, who invest in meme stocks, I would say like Tesla, AMD, and some companies that, I don't know, don't even make so much sense sometimes. But basically it's more about making funny memes and showing how much you've won or how much you've lost, and mostly it's loss porn, as they say. It's like people losing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, which is kind of sad. And they mostly do it trading options, which is kind of like a leveraged way of participating on upward movements of the stock market or downward movements. And they are bets, and they're very risky, so I generally don't recommend those. So basically what has been happening is that Wall Street Bets has been jointly investing in GameStop, which is this old chain where you can buy physical copies of video games, which a lot of hedge funds have betted against, so they've been short selling the stock. So what has been happening is that the stock price of GameStop went from $5 to $300 now. People are going crazy, and now Wall Street Bets kind of feels like David versus Goliath, because the hedge funds have been shorting the stock because they thought it's gonna go bankrupt. But they get into a lot of trouble now because they're very leveraged, and they actually shorted 130% of the stock. It's quite complicated. There are better videos explaining this, but as a matter of fact, a large group of retail investors buying the stock leads to the hedge funds losing a lot of money, billions basically. And so this is what has been happening. But then at the same time as this huge explosion happened, a few of the brokers, mainly Robinhood, but also interactive brokers, have actually limited the buying of the stock. And obviously people say this is a conspiracy. Also, what is kind of suspicious, I would say, is that one of the hedge funds who shorted GameStop is Melvin Capital. They already lost billions, so they basically had to be saved by another big hedge fund money financial company, which is Citadel. Citadel is also the clearinghouse which basically executes the orders from Robinhood. And people say it must be Citadel blocking the retail investors from making their money and jumping in on this craze and getting rich. And basically the narrative has been the small retail investor gets screwed over, and the hedge funds basically block them, and they don't want them to be rich and get rich. And it's been quite controversial, and people get very riled up. But for me, the more interesting question is, why is this becoming so big? Why are people so insanely interested into this? Because it's crazy. When I was on Wall Street Bets first, it was like 600,000 people. Now it's 6 million, I think. I think 4 million people came there, and some bots might be involved too. But I think let's look at the bigger picture, because the technical details are a bit boring and we don't even need to talk about them here. I think, first of all, the David versus Goliath effect is very powerful. It's one of the most, one of the strongest narratives in storytelling in all the Hollywood movies. And the us versus them is very much at play here. Basically, also reading on Wall Street Bets, like the companionship is quite remarkable, I think. People saying to people who invested all of their savings, basically, yeah, good job, and I'm gonna do the same, and don't sell. Basically, some kind of unity being, like a very strong narrative of togetherness versus a perceived evil enemy, which is like the rich guys in ties and suits, is super powerful. And I think that's one of the part which is appealing. But that's only part of the story, right? I think number two, money is very emotional. Money can quickly make us angry, but also excited, greedy. And let's not kid ourselves. There's definitely greed involved in the whole thing. Because if you see those screenshots of people who turned 10,000 into 10 million, there's this one guy called Deep Effin Value who has now been kind of doxxed. He made 40 million or something, and if you see this, or even people making 100,000, and those screenshots or those stories like, I bought my father this and that, or I'm finally able to pay my debt, from these normal people, this is like the perfect social proof and testimonial that you need to believe and buy into this. So is there greed involved and jealousy in some sense? Yes. And even I'm susceptible to it. Even I was considering, like, should I get in on this? Am I missing like a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity here? But it's dangerous, right? So basically what happens here and how I explain this big phenomenon, this craze, which almost broke the internet, I would say, and even broke the financial markets to some extent because it has big ripple effects. It's the perfect storm of FOMO and everything that makes a sales pitch appealing. That happens here. First of all, as I said, the social proof is insane. You have all these anecdotes of people becoming rich and making tons of money. Then you have this limited time frame where basically this is one of the best things to make people buy something, is to say you only have 1 more hour left to buy this. So basically, yeah, you gotta hurry up because you already missed the big jump up from $30 to $350 or something. Now get in on it because the next stop is $1,000 or something. And the people also refer to being in a rocket and going to the moon and something. They have their own lingo, which is very interesting and appealing. Stuff like diamond hands or paper hands, and YOLO and going to the moon and all this kind of stuff is very interesting. And having your own lingo is also helpful to feel like you're part of a group. And I think feeling part of a group is really one of the key components of the whole sauce. Like, I'm one of those guys. We're the ones, the retail investors, who now band together against the evil hedge fund guys, and we actually make them lose a lot of money. So it's kind of like a us versus them, and it's also kind of like a lot of humor. But what really struck me is how much encouragement there is, like, and how much like messaging, the narrative is being reinforced over and over and over in thousands of messages, like, don't sell now, don't get impatient, hold, hold, hold. It's kind of like in 300, the Spartans, and they make all these memes from 300 or from Lord of the Rings or whatever. And it's creative, it's crazy, but it's also very unifying, and it's like we're on the right side of history. But then let's not kid ourselves, it's also about becoming rich. That's what most people hope for. And then also you can pay back those greedy hedge fund managers that kind of laugh at you and that always screw you over, and that now it seems they actually factually screw you over because they prevent you from buying more stock. By the way, it's not only GameStop, there's also some other meme stocks like BlackBerry and Nokia. It does feel very much like Generation X because those were like the big companies back in the day, and it seems to be more nostalgia than actual due diligence that leads people to invest all their life savings into these stocks because they don't have a very sustainable business model in many cases. And then, yeah, I think the perfect storm of all of these factors, you have to get in on it quickly. You can make millions potentially. You have a big group and a big chance now, and we can pay back, and then basically those assholes, hedge fund managers, make all the money, and now we have a chance, and we have our brothers and sisters who make millions too. Let's get in on this. Okay, that's all nice, but here's what I want to say basically. First of all, if you want to invest some play money into this, feel free to do this. And probably most of the viewers here aren't really the demographic that's investing in these stocks and in options. But if you're tempted, or if at some point in the future you're tempted to do something like this, my advice would be, sure, if you want to get in on it for the fun, for the memes, but also to maybe support the cause, even invest some play money, but not more than maybe 1% of your net worth. You should be ready to lose it because what you're doing is very risky. Be careful. And I don't want to be the boring German guy here and saying you gotta save your money. All I'm trying to say is this is real money. This is actual real money that you're investing. And some people like that I read off are like 20 years old, and they basically say, I sold all my other stocks, or I took my college fund and now I invested 50K into the stock. And it's insane to me, and it's super depressing, and it makes me anxious. I mean, do whatever you like. You're an adult, I hope, but what I'm trying to say is, do you even still know what money is? Or did you kind of lose touch because you always had enough money? I don't know. But if you really invest 20,000 or something, you maybe need to work 1 year for this in many countries of this world. You need to work 1 year. That's what you can maybe save. 1 year of full-time work is $20,000. And now you want to do this, invest this all in a bet. I don't know, it feels very much like casino. And if you just start off with the stock market, and if you're a beginner, and if you don't really understand how the whole thing works and the risks involved potentially, I would recommend you don't do it. Because what I think is going to happen is the early movers made great money, right? This one guy, Deep Fucking Value, he made 40 million. Why? Because he bought leveraged calls for 700K or something, a very high amount, in December. So back when it was at $10 or something. And I think this guy is kind of a YouTuber, and he's also kind of big on Wall Street. So he might be kind of pushing this stock to say, hey, that's actually kind of big. Let's all buy this, and it worked. And let's pay them back. Those early guys are making a ton of money. And there are a few big investors, by the way, too, in GameStop, who now are probably billionaires, whatever. But you're probably not a first mover, right? At some point, if you take a normal distribution, you're probably late. You don't know, maybe it goes on like this up until 1,000. So this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. All I'm saying is, it looks a bit like a snowball system, like a pyramid scheme, like a multi-level marketing thing, because for the price to keep on growing, you basically need to convince more and more people to invest more and more money. And sure, there's like the short squeeze thing that basically could lead to a price increase, but don't bet on it. And I think what's probably going to happen with the people who now bought it 200-300, there's going to be a very sudden drop when people start to sell, which is going to be as quick as the increase in price. And then your maybe $10,000 plus are going to lead to you losing almost all of your money. And this is probably going to happen. Why is this going to happen? Because the company isn't worth $350. Let's be real here. It's not worth $1,000. GameStop has a business model that's not really sustainable. And I know they have a good CEO, and you have some nostalgia for it. And I guess there's still some physical copies for PlayStation 5 and everything. But, and yeah, they have a new CEO who tries to turn around things. It's going to be super hard to turn it around. And it does make economic, logical sense to short it almost even. And I personally think, I don't see the stock price at $300 in the long term, unless this remains a meme. I see it at $30 or $20 or $10, maybe even less. And you can really lose most of your money here. It's dangerous. And yeah, people have a very short memory. Already on Wall Street Bets, I see them talking about the new like BlackBerry and new stocks, and even talk about AMC, and talk about like cryptos again, talking about the most stupid cryptos, Dogecoin. I mean, I think those things are kind of funny and I like the memes, but don't let your money become a meme, and don't waste it all, because your life, you can see your life as a joke, and I'm kind of prone to doing that too. But this might have real consequences, and just be careful, because I just care about you. And this is actually, it's kind of serious in a way, because just investing your money now in a sensible way can really set you well off for the future, but losing it all now can really set you back for 10 years or something. It's super dangerous. Okay, let's try to get to the point here. I think if you don't know who this sucker is, you're the sucker, is what they say at poker, I think. Probably the players in the market right now are smarter than you, and they're richer than you, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure the big players and institutional investors and hedge funds have found a way to make more money, to do front running, to capitalize on those movements. They have these algorithms which can trade in milliseconds. They're the ones who are going to take your hard-earned money, probably, in some way or another. Who also makes money is the brokers, except from Robinhood, they're kind of screwed now. And Melvin Capital is also kind of screwed, maybe, but it's not even sure. But the brokers make money from all the transactions, the clearing houses, those early investors who maybe, you could say, who did kind of like market manipulation in some sense too, let's be honest here. Those people are the rich ones, not you. They're probably making most money, and I think it's unfair, but all I'm saying is don't get sucked into this if you're just a beginner, and don't take too many risks. That's just from the bottom of my heart. Also in the future, if somebody wants to sell you some kind of magic pill, don't do it. It feels like young men especially are very susceptible to this magic pill thinking when it comes to making money. And the problem with the stock market is that, right, it sounds serious, right? And it is serious in some sense. Stock market, that's nice. You can study it at school, at like business school. You can study finance. You can study the effective market theory and efficient market theory and different models on how to predict prices and how to value the fair value of a company. But what's happening now is quite far away from this. In general, you could say the financial markets have moved away from what should be happening, because right now the economy is done, basically. Nothing happens, but still the stock prices are at record high. People buying Doge coins, which is just a meme, is ridiculous. People bringing like a failed company like GameStop, let's be honest here, to $300, $400 is a meme. I don't think that's the right way to do it. I think what everybody should be doing is become financially literate. What does that mean? It means having a good grasp of your own finances, of taxes, of what a share is. I think everybody should read a few books like Peter Lynch, or read like the Benjamin Graham books, or read like the Warren Buffett letters to investors. Become somewhat proficient at these basics at least, and then invest in an ETF in the S&P 500. I know people are going to hate me for this. If you want more action, you can do some stock picking, but pick some stocks with some future. Maybe even pick Tesla, for instance, if you see the case of self-driving cars. Maybe pick Microsoft, maybe pick some startups, maybe pick Shopify, maybe pick Amazon, pick tech or pick green technology, pick those carbon companies, but don't pick like Toys R Us or whatever, or don't pick those failed companies. I mean, I don't know, just for meme reasons. And of course, I mean, I get that you want to pay them back and the hedge funds, but that's tough. I mean, what's better is, and I think that there's something good with this, right? We notice that we maybe need better regulations. Not of Reddit. I don't think we need to regulate those hobby investors and memers. I think we need to regulate maybe those hedge fund managers more. I think there's a case to be made that short selling shouldn't be allowed to the extent that it's now allowed. I think what a lot of those influential big investors are doing is market manipulation. When they go on CNBC and say, I just shorted this stock, it's gonna drop down, right? Or I just bought this stock. All of this is in a way manipulation. But you also gotta see, you're just such a small fish. Even if you take all the money that Wall Street Bets now invests, it's still peanuts as opposed to the big institutional investors, like the big state funds or the big funds out there. They can crush you if they want to, probably. And the big ones really make money with the upward movement now too. And then they're selling at the right time, and this is probably gonna lead to panic selling. So yeah, become proficient at this, but also in general, I would say be critical of this psychological effect of FOMO, trying to get in on this, trying to fight against the evil people. And for God's sake, don't invest more than 1% of your assets in highly speculative stuff. And this is very, very speculative. There's no strategy here aside from we're in this together, and the poor suckers who are gonna have the diamond hands and who are gonna hold the stock for the longest time are probably gonna lose most of their money. Let's be real here. So yeah, there was kind of a rant. I know it's not really usually the topic of this channel, but I care about you and I want you to make the right decisions. And if you're very suicidal, of course, go ahead and just invest all of your money into this, but just be warned that usually, historically, the poor small retail investors are the ones getting screwed over, like in the dot-com bubble. And right now we're in a similar bubble, I guess, also with crypto, you could argue, but that's another topic. So all I'm saying is, yes, become financially illiterate, and maybe if you notice this stuff is interesting and intriguing to you, use it to learn about diversification and about sound fundamental analysis. But invest in stocks that have some future. If you do stock picking and diversify, that's what I would do. And stay at it and do. If you don't want to deal with it, there's some really smart people who say, I can't do the investment stuff right, like Tim Ferriss. I think he uses some robo-advisors like Wealthfront or something. I'm not affiliated with them, but basically they automatically invest your money for a small fee, which is still better than just having it on your savings account. So yeah, that's my kind of long rant. I still enjoyed the memes and I'm gonna continue to follow it. But I gotta admit, I was kind of glued to Reddit too. I was reading this stuff, and as it popped out, it made me excited too in a way. And at the same time, it would hurt my heart to see people, I don't know, getting super depressed over losing tens of thousands now, their whole savings, because they bought into this meme. And it's very intriguing due to the factors I listed, but it's very dangerous too, and it's real money, so don't F up your future because of a meme. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's talk about some unintentional ASMR that I've enjoyed this week. So first of all, there was a really nice video with David Attenborough, who is a legend, obviously, when it comes to these nature documentaries. And he's looking at a really nice book with beautiful illustrations of birds, and just listening to David and the page turning, I really enjoyed it, so check it out.
As per the original, as per your
Yes.
your copy.
Oh, that's very handsome. This seems to be exactly the tooling of mine. But they aren't designed really, they're just done with oil and...
But some have got combs in them, and some of them have got spiky patterns, and some of them have got wave patterns, and this is a spot.
Gosh, that's a very good rich blue, brown, isn't it?
Well, the difficulty in the reproduction, of course, was holding all the detail in these dark areas, but also keeping these incredibly faint watercolour washes.
Oh, it's very nice, I must say. Oh, now you see, these are the ones. These are the ones. I think that, arguably, the eagle owl, is probably the one, really.
Mm-hmm.
And as a bird portrait, difficult to improve
Well,
on.
presumably you've met eagle owls in
I've
real
seen
life,
them.
but they've been reset in exactly the same style.
I'm just going to try to go to some, there we are, the toucans. Yeah. That's a cracking picture, isn't it?
Wonderful colours.
Very lightweight, yeah. It's full of, well, not full, it's all empty as it were, but it's got very fine honeycomb. But it's apart from anything else, it's species specific. I mean, it's one of the ways that the birds recognise their own kind and their own mates. But they're not front heavy as you might suppose.
No.
I congratulate you. I think it looks lovely. Okay.
Okay, second of all, there's a channel called Bella Texan, I think. And she does different stuff about cooking, keto diet, and also reviewing stuff. And she has a really unique Russian accent. Maybe it's not Russian, sorry, but it sounds Russian American accent. So I enjoyed one video in particular where she reviews like a rice cooker or something, Instant Pot, I think. And I just like her voice, so check it out.
This is ring. And I want to talk about this. First, I want to tell it's my favorite tool. I have a few of them, but this is my favorite tool, Instant Pot, and I have 6 core Instant Pot. I was decided to get for 8 or 6, and my husband really said, like, get smaller one, and if you will be using often, get another one. If you're using often, maybe you need 2 of them. I do not need it anymore. I think I'm happy with this, and 6 is enough for me, for our family, or 3. I normally keep my lid like this, and when I'm cooked and I have a liquid sometimes collect, but it's normally water and sometimes it's steam smell, I normally put my Instant Pot, it's here on one side, and later I turning another side, and it stay until it's dry. Yes, when I open, I'm a little bit shaking. I always want shake, but when it's dry, it stay on. Another thing, when I put this on, I keep this in a pantry. It stay outside was before. Right now, I make room for pantry. I have more different devices what I like it, and I using or this or another one. And this is my tip.
Okay, and one of the classics of unintentional ASMR is Craftsman, Steady Crafting. If you don't know it, check it out. And this guy is super prolific when it comes to making stuff. I really admire that. And in this recent video, he creates like a very unique toy and just the different construction sounds and his strange accent, which I don't know if it's acting, I'm not sure, were really relaxing to me, so check it out.
You could do that, and I have shown how that you can take any object, like the little Dina alien right there, and make you a mold of it. I was able to make me a bunch of little Dina aliens right there. See that? Look at them, they're all rubbery. Look at them there. See how that flash on there? Look at that. As always, scrape the side, scrape the bottom, rotate the cup around. All right. And then what I'm going to do is got my little toothpick right there. All right. I'm going to power it from up high up here. It's pretty thin viscosity, so we shouldn't have too many bubbles in it, but what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I got my little toothpick right there. Yeah, we just going to have a friendly negotiation with these bubbles. Y'all don't need that. Plenty other places y'all can be right now. Don't have to be up in there. And like I said, it's pretty thin viscosity, this oatmeal. But what I'm going to do is to put this whole thing up in my pressure pot. To be completely honest with you, this entire project was just an excuse for me to use these hoses and accessories.
Another gold mine for unintentional ASMR is Peter Draws. He has an amazing voice too, and a very careful way of drawing, and he's an amazing artist, let's be honest. And in this one video, which I enjoyed this week, he's basically opening some packages. He has like a miniature house, but then he's drawing on some crumply paper, and I liked it very much. So here are some moments from it.
Okay, well, we are doing pretty good so far as you send it, I art it. Our first item is a pen, a cross pen, not a cross, like a cross, but the brand is Cross. As you can see here, it says Cross, made in USA, and then here, I've been thinking about one of these for a while. Not so often I get a felt tip that is refillable, right? And it comes with a cartridge here, but I think you can also put pistons in it. In fact, and this is a very wrapped up, wrinkled, crumpled piece of paper because for some reason that pen was just wrapped in it. I don't know. I guess it was just for safekeeping, but if you think back to that part of the video or skip back to it, it's very tightly wrapped, and so there are some very tight, very crisp wrinkles. And in this piece of paper, you'll notice there are two kind of the structure is kind of formed like a ladder. There are two vertical lines going on each side of the paper because that's where the pen was, right? And then the paper was folded in over the pen. And
yeah, and in case you haven't checked it out yet, I made a compilation about snooker. I think it's the most relaxing sport to watch, especially those old school commentators are great. So here are just a few moments. Snooker, unintentional ASMR.
Terry is well aware that this young man is completely tied up with nerves. Anxiously wanting to get back to the table. Want to disturb those four, I think. The dying embers for Eddie Charlton, the Australian champion, as former champion Reardon steadily clears up the last three reds. And now
17.
For the remaining six colours, a lead of 72 points, with Charlton, in fact, yet to score. A great performance by Welshman Ray Reardon.
Okay, let's talk intentional ASMR. Some great stuff this week. There's one channel I haven't really had on my radar. It's ASMR Cinabro. And in this video, he has a new mic. I think I wrote NTG5, which I have too. And he has some great triggers with it. It's one of those great channels with high production quality and many great triggers. So check it out. always enjoy Moonlight Cottage's videos. She has one of the best production qualities. I don't know if she lives on a film set or something, but in any case, she has a beautiful French accent too. Here she plays a maid, which she does play in a few videos, and she kind of, I guess, brushes your hair after a long night at a ball or something, at a dance, I think, and the triggers are beautiful, the videography is beautiful, so check it out.
There. Let's put these away. It's pretty messy inside. Shall I tidy this up for you, Your Grace? I could fix that before we use the brush. Just let me know if it hurts, alright? So the first one is a delicate blend of rose and lavender with a slight touch of jasmine. Very feminine and comforting.
I don't get Reiki 100% what it is, but I really enjoy Neil Cooper. I've talked about him before, but he's my favorite Reiki master, so to say. And he has his own practice in England somewhere. And in this recent video, he has a beautiful Reiki session where he basically, gives you some personal attention and some chakra cleaning, I think, probably, and some nice background noises. It's a great channel, and I really like Neil's healing energy, and I think he has a good heart, probably.
I'm going to use this shaman's feather just to put it into your aura. Smell that sweet white sage over the top of your aura. Smoking over you, cleansing and purifying. Just going through your aura, cleansing and clearing. Cleansing and clearing. Cleansing and clearing. That's it, friend, well done. That's it. Fan through your aura, dissipating in your aura energy field. Just keep relaxing. Dear friend, keep letting go. Going deeper and deeper, deeper into ever more relaxed state. Going to do another chakra power symbol for the whole of your body, a really big one. Chakra, chakra. Chakra. Push that down through your aura to heal your entire being from head to foot. As an energy being, as a beautiful soul.
Okay, then ASMR Bakery, who does one of the best like trigger only videos, she's a master at this, did 10 great tapping sounds basically in this video, and I like those trigger specialty compilations. And I think my favorite ones was the slow tapping in the beginning and the invisible tapping. Very satisfying to watch too. And then Blue Whisper is another excellent channel, and she did a very nice haircut roleplay with some steaming and everything, so really well done.
A little bit of split ends though, so we're definitely gonna wanna do a little trim on there. You can see that your layers as well have grown out. What I have is avocado oil. This is just your regular 100% avocado oil. You can find that at the grocery store. And I'm going to be putting peppermint oil as well. Just a little bit. It's going to have a really wonderful scent. And peppermint oil has actually been shown to be really beneficial to the hair and the scalp, so it's a good thing to add into it. Okay, you're all.
If you want another haircut roleplay, I have a bit of a hidden gem. The channel is called KB Kid ASMR, I think. And basically it's a man who is quite attractive, to be honest, who also does a pretty nice basic haircut roleplay. He doesn't have the craziest props, but it's kind of old school ASMR, and I think it worked quite well for me. So it's kind of my hidden gem recommendation this week.
Just kind of comes out a little strong.
think this was it. Thank you so much for being here, and I think for me personally, being here with you is a great feeling, and just talking, getting out what I'm feeling is beautiful. And also being a bit of a curator of content and also praising what other people do. I really just love ASMR, and it helps me a lot to fall asleep and to work and for everything in life. And so I feel like this is something I enjoy very much. And you can tell me if you enjoyed this show, so to say. I don't know if it's a show, but also the part where we made the inventory and where we thought about the week. I think personally it's good to have some gratitude, but maybe you want to have a different format. And then also me talking about the stock market. I guess not everybody is gonna be into this, but it's something that everybody was jumping on this week, and I kind of wanted to get it out because most people seem to only talk about the situation and make some funny memes about it, or kind of say these are the evil people. But I think it's valid to point out the evil people, and I think there should be more regulations, and there's definitely an ethical question, a moral question to be asked, which is, should there be billionaires? Shouldn't we tax people when they reach $1 billion in net worth, like 99% on their further income? I know most of it is in stock options and so on, but still, I'm definitely quite critical of the whole thing. At the same time, I think it's good to invest in the stock market because we don't have any interests right now. There's a lot of money being printed and assets appreciate in value, whatever. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I want you to be financially secure because unfortunately we live in a world where money is important. And as you can see with this whole Reddit Wall Street bets thing, money can drive people insane. Money can have people shut off their critical thinking. And honestly, I read somewhere that most marriages get divorced because of money and financial issues. So it's definitely something that can kill our relationships very much. And to me, money is just one thing. It's freedom. Freedom to do what I want to do in my life. So it's not the end all be all at all. I don't really care for luxury at all. I don't want to buy something big. Honestly, I don't even find shopping fun at all. There's a few things I enjoy buying, like mechanical keyboards maybe, or I don't even know what else. Food maybe. But other than that, I'm very much a minimalist at heart. But I think money is an important trading resources for your freedom, and my freedom is my most valuable possession, so to say. That's what I'm trying to say, and maybe think about this as well. What does money mean to you? Do you think money is something evil, something bad? I think that's not going to help you in your life. Do you think money is amazing and you like to watch rappers buying chains and paying stuff in cash, and you like Mr. Beast videos where he spends 10,000 on a steak? I think then something is wrong with you too. Or you're very young, which is fine too. But at some point I think you're gonna notice that money is just a helpful tool to do what you want to do anyways in life, and it's still good to think about it, and it's good to, I guess, invest it if there's a possibility. But yeah, that's basically what I want to say, and I care about you, so be smart about it. Don't fall for get-rich-quick schemes. Don't fall for some scammers who want to get your money by telling you this is how you make more money. And I'm not saying this is happening here, but it's tough. The stock market is tough. It's Champions League. You gotta be good to make money there. It's not the casino, and it's not just some meme. Whatever. I hope this was relaxing to you. Thank you so much for being here, and talk to you soon.